have more. We are at that. I think this is the best time for us to get to know ourselves, know where we're joining us from. So let's start with you introducing yourself in the chat room and telling us where you're doing. So tell us your name and where you're joining us from. Okay, let's have it coming in the chat room. And I think I would kick that off actually. So my name is Edith, Ugochukwu Edith, and I'm the General Manager of Transformation College of Business and Technology. Is joining us from Abuja. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to have you on the call this morning. Okay, Wenga. Okay, Wenga is transcribing. Okay, good. Tinuke is joining us from Lagos. Great. Cynthia from Nigeria. Cynthia, where in Nigeria? Is it Lagos? Is it Abuja? Where exactly in Nigeria? Njoku is joining us. Okay. Ignatius is joining us from Lagos. Dr. Michael. Thank you very much, Doctor, for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you on the call, all the way from Canada, our special VVVIP mentor for today. Thank you very much for joining us. And we have Gabriel. Gabriel is joining us from Lagos. Oh, Cynthia from Akure. Okay, great. Folarin joining from Lagos. Oh yeah, Mr. Muyu, I see you. Okay, from Lagos. Adana from Lagos. Okay. Omolara from Kwara. Great. Zainab. Okay, Lagos. Prosper from Lagos. Yes, let's keep that coming. Okay, so while we are at that, now I would like to know those who are joining us on the call, any of Transformation College programs for the first time. So if this is your first time, it means you're a first timer on our call or our program. So can I see in the chat room, if you're a first timer, say yes, first timer. Just that brief. Yes, first timer. If you're a first timer on the call, on any of our calls or programs or webinars, please, let's see in the chat room how many persons are joining us from the for the first time. Okay, Adana, first timer. Okay, great, great. Okay. Ife Inwa, first timer. Thank you for joining us. Okay. First timers, while others keep the introduction coming on or coming in. Yes, so let's get to see who are first timers. Oh, Tochuku, first timer. Okay, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us. Yes, do we have other first timers on the call? Feel free to make use of the chat room. Okay. Okay, are you coming? First timer. Great, great. Okay. And while we're at that, Mercy, Damola, Emmanuel, please send a reminder to the community and let them know that we are already on. And so we don't have them joining us late, so they don't miss out of anything at all on this call. Okay, so first timers. All right. Okay, so with me on the call, I have my team. I have Boma, I have Mercy, I have Emmanuel, I have Damola. We're all working at the back end to see that we give you an exceptional experience on today's program. So once again, welcome and thank you for joining us today. So Emmanuel, I think you would have to share the attendance form link in the chat room, and let's have people fill up the attendance form as they join. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing my screen right now. Okay, so yes, let's have that in the chat room. Emmanuel, let's have the attendance form link in the chat room. So the reason why I asked to know those who are joining us for the first time is because it will let me understand if there would be need for us to go through with the introduction of who we are, the sake of our first timers and who are our guests today. I'll be taking you through to introduce Transformation College properly to you for better understanding of what we do and how we can help you and the people who are close or related to you benefit from what it is we do at Transformation College. So once again, you're all welcome. And so Transformation College is an NGO and a college that offers national diploma certificates courses to SSC graduates, NYC members, university graduates, and professional set and knowledge within Nigeria and beyond. And our courses, of course, are sure to provide our students with practical knowledge and expertise in their chosen courses. And I know that those our students or alumni on the call can testify to the fact that we do not joke with our courses as far as Transformation College is concerned. So our main courses are business administration and computer science. However, we have special courses that are tailored towards ensuring that we prepare our students for the now and the future, the skills that are required for you to be able to fit in, be you an entrepreneur, be you an employee, or a business owner, whatever category. So other courses or programs include certificate in entrepreneurship and business management. We have a certificate. We have certificate in English language and communication skills. We have certificate in Microsoft 365 Copilot. We have diploma in digital marketing with Google. We have certified AI business analyst course, certified AI and automation specialist course. We have diploma in ISO management systems, business analysis, and project management. And last but not the least, diploma in AI and machine learning. So these are specially selected courses from Transformation College to ensure that whichever course you choose, it actually prepares you for the now and the future and not just remaining where you are. Okay, so our mission remains to raise a generation of highly skilled professionals. And our vision is to be the #1 tuition-free educational institution in Africa for equipping people with transformational knowledge, skills, and capabilities. Now, you've seen tuition-free. Yes, we at Transformation College believe that education should be free in developing parts of Africa, especially Nigeria. And that is why we are passionate about not just bringing education, but quality education that prepares you for the now and the future. Depending on your program, our classes, our courses are tuition free. It just requires you for some of them to pay a token registration fee. And then you are fully registered to undergo the program and graduate, get your certificate, get your transcripts, and be able to face the world at large. And our core values are knowledge, excellence, and skills. Now, why study at Transformation College? First of all, you obtain your national diploma certificate, of course, after your 2 years of study. And of course, you obtain a Microsoft certification. So we have a couple of our programs that the curriculum is straight from Microsoft. And with that, you'll be able to take some Microsoft certification examinations and get certified. And of course, graduating with a 2-year work experience. How does this work? While you are studying with Transformation College, you stand a chance of undergoing internship while you are studying. And by the time you're done with your studies, you'd be able to have acquired years of experience and to start your career. And of course, the extras are you'd be recommended to our industry partners for full-time employment. And we do have a number of our students who are benefiting from this. Now, why would we be so sure to recommend you to our industry partners for employment, it is because we are very we're sure of the quality of education and the skills you have acquired while studying at Transformation College. And that's why we do not take lightly classes. We take them seriously, and it is fully practical packed, so that you know the exact tools that you need to, you should be able to utilize depending on your chosen course of study. So by the time you're graduating, you already are skilled up, and we are very sure that when we recommend you, you can deliver and make us proud. And of course, we are ISO 9001 and 21001 certified. So the certificate you're getting actually is not just a Nigerian only recognized certificate, it is a global certificate as well. So these are reasons why you should study at Transformation College. You should get your friends, your family members to study at Transformation College. All right. So having said this, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to bring to our knowledge our summer program registration is still ongoing. Now this summer program, this particular program you see on your screen, we kicked off last week, Saturday, and the actual classes are going to resume or kick off this Saturday. So I think you can share the registration link in the chat room as well. Okay, and one might be asking, what are the contents of this program? Here you go. Okay, this is fully packed and carefully selected to make sure that you are fully equipped, be it for the excellence program, the ISO certificate, the ISO standards, the business analysis or project management. We see that we drive from the beginning to the end. So this is for you. If you're on the call and you've not registered and haven't looked at this, you feel this is for you, please feel free to register. And that's one side of our summer program. We have the other side of it, which is the Diploma in Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning. Registration is still ongoing. And guess what? We are kicking off this particular program this week, Saturday. So we have two sides to it. We have the Diploma in Business Analysis, Project Management, ISO Management Systems, and we have the Diploma in Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning. So registration is ongoing. Whichever one you choose, just go for it. Register and get ready to be skilled up. All right, and these are the contents of AI and machine learning diploma program. Okay, so that's it, and I believe you've been able to grasp, a summary of what Transformation College is and what we do. And I know this will go a long way to help booster the confidence of those who are already our students and our alumni, and for those who are just
All right, so I think there might be something wrong with Edith's internet. Good. It's afternoon in Lagos in Nigeria. Can anybody hear me? Please confirm that you can hear me. Damola, anybody, please, can you confirm?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I can hear you, sir. Loud and clear.
Okay, brilliant. So once again, thank you very much, everyone, for being here. In Nigeria, today is a public holiday. In Ghana, it's a full day at work. So people who are calling in from Ghana, thank you very much. We know that your you're supposedly meant to be, you're at work, and you've decided to take part of your work time to join us here. So we don't take that for granted. Thank you very much. And everybody that is in Nigeria, today is a public holiday, and you've also taken the time out of your day to be here. Once again, thank you very much, and to the entire team of Transformation College that put this session together. So I think it was beginning of this year we said that we need to bring people that we need to have mentor days, and our plan is to do mentor days on maybe some of the national public holidays, just like we have a national public holiday here in Nigeria. Over time, we're still going to do a couple of others. We're probably going to do 1st of October also, and we wanted to bring people who we know. Who I know specifically, not people that I know via the internet, not people that I know via LinkedIn, people that I stumbled upon maybe in the last 4 or 5 years and things like that. No, I wanted to bring people that I know personally, people that I have worked with, that have worked with me, people that I can vouch for, I can beat my chest. I know when they started. I know where they have gotten to. So I didn't want it to be a mentor session just for mentoring sake. I wanted it to be a mentor session whereby I know that this person can mentor us, can mentor me myself. And I think I've been very fortunate over the last 25 years that I've been running a business. I have people in different parts of the world that have worked with me in one area or the other, and those people have gone ahead. And even now, apart from them working for me at some point in time, me hiring them, working for me, they've now even gone ahead and they've even become like my own mentors. One of them still called me today. He works for Facebook somewhere in Canada, I believe. His name is Aniji. Maybe we'll bring him up at some point in time. Another one worked. I mean, there are dozens of them that work globally. And so when we wanted to do this, the first person that came to my mind, right, is Dr. Mike, and I like to call him in cam, and maybe they will play the video, maybe they will play the clip, or they will share the clip in the chat room of when I was speaking about him in the session that I was having on Saturday. Nkem must have come to me, I would like to believe it was 2004 or 2005. And then he came, he really had a lot of interest in databases, and that was his core interest. And because of that, I was teaching him. I was his mentor in those days. Now he's become my coach and even my mentor. And I used to guide him through. And those days, we used to spend a lot of time on Microsoft Access and then Microsoft SQL Server. And he used to be the trainer for us in training nights, and he used to teach databases. And I remember the time that we started working on one big database book like that, the database book that is recommended by British Computing Society. And in Kem, I remember in those days, he also completed the British Computing Society qualifications and all that. And if Nkem tells you about his background, I think I can't even remember, was it geography or something like that he studied? And and he went ahead from that time, right? And then he left working with us at Training Heights to go, because we're primarily a training organization, and he went to an insurance company. And I know that he led a lot of work, a lot of migration type work. And then just like that, he became the #1 person, I think, in the entire West Africa, if not Africa, that became an Oracle database master. And I'm sure he became a master, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years ago, something along those lines. And Nkem has just gone from one height to the other. So when we wanted to have this, I really thought about it, and I said there's no better person to bring in than himself. And he has a beautiful wife who also used to work for me. So you see, it's good for you to work for me. You might even have a beautiful and brilliant wife who's also a global role model right now. I can speak about Nkem over and over again, and I know he has gone to do great things. One time he called me about 2 or 3 years ago, and he was describing some migration that he had done. from one paid platform, I think from an IBM, which is a paid platform, to like an open source platform. What he was talking about is like something that I read in the new on online. It's not something that even makes sense to me. I couldn't even decode what it is that he was trying to say. What he was discussing had gone past my brain. My brain capacity, so to speak. So Nkembu is somebody that I respect a lot. He's worked with me, he's worked for me in the past, and he's just gone ahead and has done great things globally. I think I shared his LinkedIn profile. So Nkembu, you should please share your LinkedIn profile link, and so that people can follow you. He's doing great things even in Canada. I'll leave him to speak about all the stuff that he's doing. So Nkem, what we really want to get out of this session is we want to leave not just being motivated. This is not really like a motivation session, right? This is really just looking at it and saying that, what exactly are the 5 steps that that people need to follow to take them from just being normal, because you used to be normal. You were like a normal human being, right? But now you look like an AI generated human being. Like if we look at your profile, we look at the things you've done and accomplished, you don't look like you're normal any longer. You actually have gone from being normal to completely being abnormal, and in a good way, I would like to say. So you just guide us, right, from humble beginnings. And I have a lot of people here. Some of them are students in Transformation College. Some of them work with us in some of the companies that I own or that I direct as a person. Just tell us the things that have helped you to get to where it is that you need to get to, so that we can learn from it, and maybe someday some of us too can become mentors like you, even on this call. So everybody, with a round of applause in the chat room, please help me welcome Dr. Mike Onuorah, that I like to call Nkem. And as he will take us over the next 45 minutes, an hour, I'm certain it will not be boring. Nkem even will introduce me to NLP at some point in time, neuro-linguistic programming. I'm like, oh my God, what on earth is this? So we won't bother trying to read his profile. We've shared it with everybody. It's on my WhatsApp page. It's everywhere. But I'll leave it to him. He's somebody in whom my heart really is proud of, and my heart is really happy with. So once again, a round of applause, everyone. Please welcome with me Dr. Mike. And can please take it over. Thank you very much for taking it's 6 o'clock or 6:30 in Toronto where you are. Thank you for waking up on a day like this and not being at work to take us through this. I'm certain this will be valuable to all of us. So once again, thank you very much. Over to you, Nkem. God bless you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Orlando. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. A bit low, but I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, great. When Orlando was speaking, I was a little bit worried that he was going to just share all my entire slide deck. So, I'll share my screen, but in the process of sharing my screen, I'd just like to say to everyone, I would strongly say that this is the best time to be alive. And I say this from a place of recognizing the fact that the world has changed. And a key question that every one of us here has to answer is, are we ready for that change? I would love to start with a slide that tells a story about growing from seed to systems. And the reason why I love to share this is because 21 years ago, actually in June, Orlando, I never forgot. You gave me the opportunity to join Training Heights on the 1st of June, the year 2004. It's one day that I've never etched out of my memory. And it's changed everything. I also add that I also met my wife while I was working with Orlando. And so today she's gone on to be technical product manager with Amazon, and she's left Amazon to go start her own business. And she runs a foundation in Canada that is empowering women to get into the field of, or the career of technology. So I always ask myself this one question: what if Orlando had said no to me? What if I didn't even take the first step? Because really, to go from seed to systems, you would have to take the first bold step. And I was very excited when Edith was sharing the courses that are being done at the Transformation College, because I always speak and I've mentored over 100 persons who have transitioned out of Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, Cameroon, and various countries, even Rwanda, to Canada. And my first conversation with them is, don't come to Canada if you don't have a skill. It's about skill. And so your skill, or what you bring to the table, is everything. And I'll just skim through the slides. These are not my original slides. The reason why I wanted to, well, these are my slides, but I wanted to just tell a story about how I started and where I am today. So like I said, it all started June of 2004. Met with Orlando, spoke, and he's, and this is one thing with the mentors, right? They see something in you that you don't even see in yourself. Because I was raw material, unpolished, unfinished. And I look back today, every time my wife and I are having conversations, somewhere in my head, I'm like, this was how we were forged. Orlando actually was the lab that forged us to who we became. I already told you how we met. I still remember that book, Orlando. I went on to buy a copy of that book eventually because I kept reading it. Like you said, I joined the British Computer Society. I wrote all 10 professional exams in 2 sittings. My background was in geography. I had a BSc in geography. And like some people would say, I had no business being in computing. But with the right mentoring, with Orlando's guidance, I went from somebody who wasn't a computer major to somebody who understood computers from the foundation, from the architecture up until the end platform. Matter of fact, I started building turnkey systems. But this is really the story for me. I was 13 in 1993. I was born in 1980. And I went on a long holiday, and I was with my grandfather. And he gave me an opportunity to learn a lesson that I would never forget. I'm from Anambra State, and my grandfather was a yam and maize farmer. So one day he gave me 2 seedlings of maize and he said, plant them in 2 containers. And we did. And after some days, when the maize seedlings had sprouted, he said to me, take one of the buckets and put it in a dark room. I said, Grandpa, why? He said, if you don't do it, you won't learn the lesson. And I listened. I put one of them in a dark room. The other was in a room. The other was outside in the natural environment. And I think about 7 days later, the one that was in the dark room was already wilting. It was yellowish, was dying. And he said, what is the lesson that you have learned here? I said, the lesson is, if you don't water your plant, if you don't give it the right environment, it will not get to its full potential. He said, is that the only lesson that you learned? I said, yes. He said, okay, let me add more learning points to that lesson. He said, imagine that plant is a human being that would impact generations to come. And you are a decision maker, you are a policy maker, and you locked that plant in the dark room. He said, what do you think will happen? I said, that person will not fulfill his or her purpose. He said, exactly the point I wanted you to take away. Every time you are in a room and you have the opportunity to make a decision, never forget this day, because if you put that person or that situation into a dark room and deny them opportunities, they would not get to their full potential. And this changed my perspective about everything. So I don't see myself as an individual. And I don't expect every one of us here to see ourselves as individuals. We should see ourselves as policymakers, decision makers, mentors, advocates, coaches who are helping others to fulfill their purpose. Because what point is it if you light your candle and you do not light the candle of others? Because someday your own candle is going to go off and there'll be no one to put on or give you access to the light. And so this changed my perspective completely, because as a young man at 13, my core focus then was probably I wanted to just do my own thing. But after that lesson, my grandfather made me realize everywhere you go, you must always nurture others. And really, I mean, in a nutshell, I would love to say that is what Orlando has been to, not just myself, to Shola. Shola is last time I checked with him, he had left Microsoft. He's also in Canada and he moved on to, I think, Deloitte, one of the consulting firms. There was another gentleman, Tosin, who read mass communication. Tosin, I still remember when we interviewed him. Tosin is gone on to be with Microsoft. I don't know where he is right now. But every one of us who has been with Orlando has not only grown exponentially, but we have gotten access to global opportunities. You know, so that's why I would always say it's important. I mean, if you don't take any lesson away from here, and I'm wrapping this particular deck so that we'll get into the main tech deck, right? If you don't take anything away from here, you must become a mentor. You must become an advocate for others. Even when they are not in that room. My last name or my surname is Onuorah. It's basically, if I translate it in the English language, it just says the voice of the people. And that has followed not just me, but my late grandfather and my late father, because he died in 2020 during the pandemic. You know, and it's when you become a voice for others, your voice also shines through. And you must become a coach. Every summer, since I came to Canada in 2018, every summer, I volunteer to teach. I teach kids coding. That's the first job I ever did when I came to Canada. And the reason why I keep doing it, right, is because after teaching the kids the first day, a young kid, innocent kid, went home and was telling the dad about how well I taught them programming, that even at his age, he was excited about programming. Guess what? The next day, the boy's father came and said to me, my son told me you're a very good programmer. How would you like to join our team? Summer job, teaching kids coding. I was teaching them a programming language called Scratch that was created by MIT, right? And it led me to my next level job. So don't say, oh, they are too young, I can't mentor them. It's not yet time. No, it is time. And I think the last one, this one would apply to those in the workplace. As you mentor others in the workplace, also sponsor others. I used to work for an organization, I don't mention that organization, right? And I was brought in to come and transform the IT department. They only had 2 servers. By the time I was leaving, they had about 37 servers. They had won the best IT department in the insurance sector back to back for 2 years. In my first year, my employment file went missing and I didn't get promoted. I didn't even bother about it. But someone on the board, someone in senior management picked it up, walked into HR and said, if they don't find my file, that blood will be shed in the office. And within a matter of weeks, the file reappeared. You know, I was due for promotion. I was promoted, but I still decided to move on. Where am I going to? In the workplace, you must find people who will be your sponsor. They will speak for you in those rooms that you do not have a voice. And that's why it's important for everyone to understand that talent is universal, but opportunity is not. So that's why you need a mentor, you need an advocate, you need a coach, and you need a sponsor. And I would also say this again and again. A mentor is someone who sees potential in you, even when you don't even believe in yourself. And I want to say that that's what Transformation College is doing, because the courses that have been listed, like AI, business analysis, ISO, I mean, if I share it, I mean, don't take my word for it. Go online and Google how much a business analyst earns in Canada. We're talking about $60,000 to $100,000. That's between 60 million naira to over 100 million. So the business analyst is a very important function here. They don't embark on projects without a BA. Now, not to even talk about AI skills. So just remember, if you don't take anything away from this session, take the fact that you need to become a mentor. You need to become an advocate. Speak for others when they are voiceless. You need to coach others. Yeah. And then the most important one, if you're in the workplace, you're a manager, you're upcoming, and you see a young career professional who is starting up, mentor, coach, sponsor them. Because you never know the doors that will be opened by that decision. I'm not going to bore you with what a mentor does. I'm sure everyone knows what a mentor does. I already spoke about the advocate. They speak for you in the room where you can't get into. A coach helps you set standards. And I mean, if I had never met Orlando or worked with Orlando, I wouldn't have known about the British Computer Society. This summer, I'll be teaching some classes at the University of Cambridge on AI safety. And I strongly believe that it was the fact that Orlando showed me the gateway to the British Computer Society that I actually even knew anything about that part, right? So it's important to meet someone who sets standards, who helps you to grow, who provides you feedback and stretches you always. I already spoke to who a sponsor is. They make or create opportunities for you to grow. So in a nutshell, my life was transformed. My journey with Orlando took me from maybe 2/10, 4/10 to a 10/10. Just to add, in 2010, when I got the Oracle Masters, I was 29 at the time. It was June of 2010. I was the youngest. I became the youngest Oracle Master in the world. And there was just one gentleman. He was not a Nigerian, but he was based out of the United States of America. So at the time when I got the certification in 2010, I was the only Oracle Master in Africa. I went on to coach some other gentleman who is also an Oracle Master and currently in Ghana. And I've worked with numerous Oracle Masters around the world. But I would say one thing to everyone here, and it's a mantra that I still use till tomorrow. Think globally, but act locally. Some people would say, oh, it's because you're in Canada that you're successful. No. Before I left Nigeria, I had made a success. I built one of the turnkey systems that is currently still being used by the Department of Petroleum Resources. I was a database consultant to the aviation handling company in Nigeria, and I was also a database consultant to the Apapa Port concession company, APM Terminals. So if you build it, they will come. If you build your skill sets, it's just a matter of time. The world will find you. There's a quote or a scripture that says, "Seest thou a man who is diligent in thy works? He will stand before kings. He will not stand before men." And so I'm going to end this deck by saying, always see potentials in others. Offer people opportunities. Hold people accountable and speak up for others. Above all, be the planter. I'll share a story. In 2020, when I lost my dad to a car crash, I came back with my siblings to bury my dad, and someone reached out to me and said, "Oh, they want to do some training on they want me to come and speak, have some recorded sessions where I would speak about the future of work." Coincidentally, this was in 2020, yeah. And I went on to do that recording. It was about 2 hours. Finished the recording, and I jumped on my flight and went back to Canada. And months after, this was in November, by January, over 100 students had watched that video, and they had reached out to the department to say they wanted me to be more available to those kids. And so they set up a WhatsApp group, and I started to mentor, coach, and speak to those young persons. I think there were about 50 of them in the group. Last week, I connected with one of them. At the time when we were having that session, this young man had not gone for his NYSC because he was waiting for NYSC, but he didn't have a skill. And so he reached out to me, and I said to him, one of the skills you can develop is blockchain, because blockchain is the future. And he said, how does this start? And I gave him a book, soft copy of a book on blockchain. As I speak with you today, he's built 2 blockchain applications for a bank in the United Kingdom and a bank in Egypt. I was on a project where that was outsourced by McKinsey, and I got in the call, and the young man was on that call, and I said to him, I knew that one day you were going to get to this point. All you just needed was the push. And so I say to everyone here, the only person that can stop you is you. You have the potential to change the world around you. You have the potential to be a seed. You have the potential to plant yourself anywhere you want to be. But you must answer this question. And the question is, what must I do now? Thank you. I'm going to open up my next slide. I'm sure that there's a lot of questions coming, but just keep the questions or hold the questions for now. I will walk us through the second deck, and then I would go on to speak to, or take a lot of questions, right? Sorry, I've not looked at my chat, so I don't know if there are questions already. Okay, no questions yet. Okay, so this next slide deck that I'm going to speak to is on the future of work and entrepreneurship. I'm going to share my screen shortly. Can everyone see my screen? Just a minute,
Yes,
please.
Doc, I can see your screen.
Okay, thank you. Just a minute. Sorry, my apologies. My 5-year-old actually came down, and I didn't want Homin to get into our slides. Okay, so this is my original deck, and I was speaking to the future of work and entrepreneurship in 2030. I'm a very, look for the word, I'm a very, very pragmatic person, meaning I like to see things from a practical side of life. And the reason why I say this is because I know that one of the things that helped to propel me to what I'm doing today is because I always put myself in the shoes of the person I want to provide the solutions for. Now, why is work or the workplace and entrepreneurship going to change? Because the world of technology is changing everything. So we're going to have to start to recognize some things that have changed. And one of them, and the most important of them, is that whether we like it or not, AI and automation is going to reshape every industry. Every industry. There's a popular saying that says AI won't replace you, but someone using AI, someone who knows how to leverage AI, will certainly replace you. Now, as far back as 2010, I'd been speaking about the future of the workplace. This was long even before the World Economic Forum brought out their reports, right? And I said to everyone who cared to listen, any task or any job that is repetitive, something you do every day, AI is going to be able to replace it. Because all the organizations need to do is, if you do that regularly, you just need to build a software or build the AI program, feed those tasks and activities, and it will learn and adapt on how to make that task better. So tasks that are routine, like data entry, setting up meetings, will be automated by AI. So whatever industry you work in currently, begin to ask yourself this question. Is my task linear? Is my task repeatable? Then it means I need to begin to think about how to take advantage of the AI revolution. Now, you don't have to be or learn AI to use AI. You just need to be a pragmatic person that says, what's the problem I want to solve? And how may I use AI to solve it? I say this always, the project managers of tomorrow are those who are going to be able to leverage technology. See yourself as the pilot and technology as your co-pilot. And so it's not just about using technology, it's about recognizing the fact that you direct the orchestra, or you are the orchestra coordinator, and the technology is the driver that moves or drives you along. Tomorrow's world, right? And I'm speaking from, I do this often, and I want to recommend everyone to do this. Take some time off. Like when I say take some time off, not necessarily taking time from work, just maybe every Saturday or Sunday where you have some free time, just sit down and imagine that you're already in the year 2030 and begin to ask yourself some questions like, how much money do I want to earn when I'm working in the year 2030? What skills do I want to have in the year 2030? What problems do I want to be solving in the year 2030? Now, I've done this from, I'm trying to remember the year when I started doing that. I started doing that when I was in the university. That was 1997. I got into the university. I was quite young. I was 17 at the time. So I got into the university in 1997. From when I've been in the university till now, I always write a letter to my future self, right? I say, this is the year. So in 1997, I wrote a letter to my future self in the year 2000, what I wanted to do, what grade I wanted to have in my final year project, because I dedicated in 2021, 2022, thereabout. You know, when you write a letter to your future self, and I've written that letter up to my future self in 2065, if the Lord gives me till then. But the point I'm trying to bring out is, when you write a letter to your future self, what you basically do is you prepare yourself for the future. And there's a quote that says that the future has already been created. I think it's Peter Drucker that said it. He says, you create the future, right? And so in 2030, I can tell you for free what's going to happen. Degrees won't matter. So even if you have 4 PhDs or you have a master's degree, now I'm not saying don't go to the university, because there's this argument that people bring, they say school is scam. Not true. When you get an education, you get a whole lot. You'll get the networking opportunities, right? When I went to the university, I went to Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, right? Some of my classmates today are in Canada, and they have the privilege of working in government and various sectors. And I'm able to walk in to have conversations and discussions with them because there was a platform. So school is a platform that gives you not only learning, right? Learnings, but allows others to advocate for you. Remember, I said you need a mentor, advocate, coach, and a sponsor. So imagine that some of your classmates will go on to become your advocate. They will be the ones to recommend you for a job. They will be the ones to maybe sponsor you or give you access to an opportunity. Anyway, I don't want to overdwell on that topic. But the time will come when the skills you have will be very important. Now, what are those skills that are required today? Critical thinking. I used to work with IBM, and one of the mantras of IBM, which was created by the founder, Thomas Watson, he said that the problem of the world today is that people don't think, and that most of the problems of the world can be solved if only people can think. So we need to learn to become critical thinkers. We need to learn to be able to solve problems. Orlando mentioned that I've done a few certifications. One of the certifications that I've also done is something called Six Sigma. I've gone on to get a few belts in Six Sigma. And one of the mantras of Six Sigma is the 7 whys. So when you want to solve a problem, if you ask yourself why you're solving that problem 7 times, by the 7th time, you would have built a level of confidence on why you're solving the problem. And I use it every day when in my client engagement. So the point I'm trying to bring out here is the focus by 2030 will no longer be about skills. Sorry, will no longer be about degrees. It will be about how well you can think, how well you can solve problems, how well you can learn digital skills very quickly, and how you can leverage prompt engineering, the language that speaks to computer systems. And so I would say that, as a matter of fact, the Transformation College is already in 2030, but most of you just don't know it yet, because the courses that are being taught by Transformation College are already courses that will shape you for 2030. Now, this is important. In today's world, you have to be a continuous learning individual. I mean, I carry a designation. I call myself a CLP, a continuous learning professional, because I never stop learning. And how do you achieve that? By attaining or continuously writing micro-credentials. There was a time when we were working with Orlando where he didn't mandate us, right? But everyone took it upon themselves to have to write at least 1 or 2 certification exams every year. So that world still remains. And those are the people that get to make decisions at the highest level. So if you're joining us today, or if you are with us today and you just have plans to just do a 2 months, 3 months short course, or do a 2 years diploma, and then you just take the diploma, put it in a frame and hang it in front of your room. The world, this 2030 world will leave you behind. So you've got to constantly reskill yourself. You've got to constantly learn as if you're working on a project. And you need to keep guiding yourself on what the next big thing is. Let me just see if there are questions popping up on the chat. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, relevant skills of the world today. That's correct. Okay. So the new workplace reality, I say this often, even when I get opportunities to speak. We're going to get to a point where everywhere will become the office. Since the pandemic, I have some clients that I don't have to physically visit their workspace. I can work from anywhere in the world. And so we're getting to a point where the new workplace reality will be collaboration hubs. Before I left Nigeria, there was an organization called CC Hub, right, where people come together and they build technology solutions and they try to market it to the world. That is what 2030 is going to become like. You can sit down at home or anywhere in the world and you can build an AI solution and people all over the world can use it. Just going to keep moving. And this is what also some of the things you would see where the world of work is going to become. Now, I'm sure someone's watching or listening to this and saying, how do we plug ourselves in? Virtual reality is a thing. Spatial computing, being able to communicate to people when you are not in the room is a thing. Now, remember, Zoom that we're using today was created out of nothing. It was someone's idea that he wanted to communicate with his family back in another part of the world. And that's how that tool was created. So as we speak right now, I want everyone who is listening to begin to think, what other kind of communication tools or technologies might come up in 2030? And you could go on to create it, or you can go on to write about it. That's how you become a futurist. You think about the future, but you write about it in the present. And I urge everyone here, it doesn't matter what industry you are in, you need to become what I call a digital journalist. How do you become a digital journalist? Write about the things you're passionate about and put them online. You achieve two things. You sell your skill set and you brand yourself. Now, the world is going to change in 2030, most certainly. We might not even wait until 2030, but I need everyone to begin to think about the future today, because the healthcare sector is going to be disrupted. If there's anyone who's a medical doctor who works in the healthcare industry, you're going to see a use case where AI or artificial intelligence, digital twins, there are a lot of technology, emerging technologies out there. So AI is not the only technology. There are lots of technologies out there. And some of these technologies are going to change the medical space. You would be able to walk into a hospital, punch in your name, punch in your blood group, or take a sample of a machine will take a sample of your blood, and the machine will be able to do some preliminary diagnosis. It's already happening in some parts of the world, like China. They have doctors that they have AI robots or AI bots that are already performing surgeries, right? So the health industry is going to change. And so you need to begin to ask yourself, how do you position yourself to ensure that you take advantage of those opportunities? Now, as we get into a world where we collaborate between man and machine, right, we would require people who can think. So the role of the community managers will come up. We will require roles of designers, people who are going to design programs that will enable us to be able to interact effectively or better with computers. And then, of course, the most important one, we're going to require people who would ensure that computers don't get ahead of themselves. And so I always call them the ethics officers. There's a new role that is coming up in the West. It's called the Chief AI Officer. It's basically a role where somebody sits down and says, we're going to regulate how we use AI in the organization and around the world. So these new jobs are being created. And of course, a lot of jobs would also go. And then, of course, there's also the fact that it's important for us to begin to think sustainability. Now, when we say sustainability, what we're basically saying is, remember, today's my first deck, I spoke about being a mentor, being an advocate. So you can be an advocate for people, but we also need to become advocates for the environment. Because if our environment is completely destroyed, then we would have a world that would face a lot of global gas, what they call that, global warming and drying up of the ocean. So we need to begin to recognize the fact that there are some industries that are called ESG, Environment and Sustainability Groups, right? Last year, I was in a competition. It was organized, I think, by Microsoft and LinkedIn, and the conversation was about how to build a green economy. And I don't know if there's anyone who's interested in that. I would share my LinkedIn, reach out to me, let's talk about it. One of the things that I proposed was a green, what I call the Green Boss Initiative. I still have the slide decks and I'd love to share it. I mean, I had, I'm not sure if it was Edith Orlando speaking about ISO courses. So I'm saying we also need to add ESGs, environmental and sustainability courses, because I was speaking about my Green Boss Initiative. It's a project that I coined out of, and I proposed it, and it really got the attention of Microsoft and LinkedIn. They were willing to get into it, right? And what I proposed was we take old dilapidated buses, like those downfall buses that are no longer being used, or those moldware buses that have been decommissioned, right? Or containers, right? All those old containers that have been trashed. Now, we wire them up with solar panels, connect them in series or in parallel, and use that to build what I call a green bus. Now, that bus will be run completely on solar, and you can drive that bus to locations like rural areas or locations that don't have 24 hours electricity, and provide people with access to not only electricity, but also internet access. So imagine a bus, let me just hypothetically say, imagine that the green bus drives to Mushi at 12 noon every day, or maybe at 8 a.m. And immediately the bus comes, it has a Wi-Fi range of up to maybe 5 kilometers. And businesses don't have to pay for expensive internet because they can connect to the Green Bus Initiative. School kids or schools that are close to the Green Bus can connect to the Wi-Fi. The Green Bus can also be used as an educational platform. So for people who are unemployed, they can walk into that Green Bus. There'll be an open door, there'll be projectors or multimedia inside that container. Now, I used a container to propose that, right? So even if you want to teach market people how to leverage, how to learn prompt engineering, you can do that with the Green Bus Initiative. But I just took some time to talk about it because in the future, the economy of sustainability will become a very important conversation. So if you are here and you study the environmental studies or something, you're not going to be left out because you're going to be involved in tracking emissions, you're going to be involved in creating regulatory compliance, you're going to be involved in proposing ways that we can convert waste to energy. I don't know if anyone's been following what's happening in Singapore. Every waste in Singapore is used to generate electricity. So if you eat anything, throw it into the trash, you do everything, all that waste is collected and taken to an incinerator and it's burned. And while it's being burned, that heat energy is used to generate electricity across the country. So we need to think along those lines. So while we're thinking about the jobs of the future, while we're thinking about entrepreneurship, we also need to think about the green opportunities that exist. And there's a lot of them. And I say this from a place where before I left Nigeria, right, I was living close to the airport, at Jawa State to be precise. And I think from 2015 or 2016 till I left in 2018 of December, I had 30 solar panels on my roof, wired serially on 20 batteries. And I didn't have to rely on electricity from the power holding company. Now, of course, I could do that because I had the means. But now imagine that we can build such initiatives like the Green Bus and provide access to electricity to everyone. Now, that's a conversation for another day. Now, what will also happen in 2030 is that we're going to build a world where everyone will become a multi-income professional. What do I mean by that? It means every individual will have the opportunity, and I say this authoritatively, to have a primary job, or what I call a primary role, but then be able to sit down to create digital products. I already said that everyone should be a digital journalist between now and 2030. That's your next task. I'm sure that someone's going to ask a question about that, and I'll speak to that because I do that also. Then you can also create some passive income as well as side ventures. I don't know how much I'm doing on time, so I'll just try to run through. I'm just wrapping up, right? In 2030, we're going to see an entrepreneurship that will be driven by AI. Now, you are the pilot. AI is the co-pilot. Now, what does that mean for entrepreneurship? It means if you start a business, your first employee is going to be artificial intelligence, right? And it will help you to amplify and simplify your work. And it will give you the typical experience that you would have struggled with. So if you're thinking of starting a business today, you must leverage AI. That's basically what I'm trying to say. But by 2030, or between now and 2030, we'll begin to see businesses that are one-man businesses powered by AI. But AI in that capacity will be doing 5,000 to 10,000 people's work at the same time. But while we're building all this, we also need to take cognizance of the fact that security is important. Because what AI does is, most AI systems or large language models are trained on data. And so we want to make sure that that data that is trained on and the data that we put into it is safe, and we govern how AI is used. So I would say that one of the things I currently do now, even though I have an extensive experience in data, I've gone on to do a master's in artificial intelligence. I've also gone on to do a doctorate program in AI ethics. And I'm currently wrapping up a doctoral program in generative AI. But the goal really is we must ensure that we advocate and advise on how AI must be used in an ethical fashion. We must advocate for ethics. We must build critical infrastructure that must be protected from cyber criminals. And we must build guardrails to ensure that AI systems are used appropriately. This is what 2030 is going to look like. In 2020, leadership was hierarchical. Oh, you are the CEO, there's a COO. In 2030, it won't matter. Because it is the people that bring value that will be treated as leaders. In 2030, you would have to adapt. Rather than building a 90-day plan, you will adapt according to prevailing conditions. Now, rather than building a team, you build an ecosystem. I was discussing with someone a few months ago, and the person wanted to write a book. I was thinking about, oh, I need a publisher. Oh, I need, and I said to the person, what are you talking about? Why do you need a publisher? He said, oh, I need a team. I said, okay, what are you talking about? He said, oh, I need a team. I said, okay, what are you talking about? He said, oh, I need a publisher. And I said to the person, what are you talking about? Why do you need a publisher? He said, oh, I need a team. when you can write your book and publish online. You can be an indie author. The person says, who is an indie author? I said, you can be an independent author. All you need to do, are you done writing the book? He said, yes. I said, okay, let's go to Fiverr. We went to fiverr.com. We found an editor who was willing to take, I think, $500 for about 2 weeks to edit the entire book. And after editing, the editor did a proofread, made all the necessary changes. And we went back to the same Fiverr about a month later with the manuscript. And we got, there's a name they call them now, like a next level editor. Sorry, the name just skipped my head. And then the editor did that. We paid for that. And the next phase was publishing and marketing. And we found someone who said to the lady, I can help with the publishing and the marketing of the book. And the book can be international. And the lady said, how? Says, I will make sure when you publish your book, it will be published in different languages. Now, the ladies rolled out the book, and it's in multiple languages: French, Chinese, German. Just for context, for those who know about Amazon.com, two countries that read and buy books a lot on Amazon is Germany and Japan. So if you're writing books today and you're not translating it in German language and in Japanese, you're most certain that you're not going to get the critical mass who buy the book. But what we realized from that interaction is that the world is now an ecosystem. And the question for everyone is, how may I plug into the global ecosystem that helps me create wealth? So don't focus on how much skill you have. Focus on how you can collaborate with AI to become more skillful. That's where 2030 is going to be. And the battle of 2020 has already started. I already said this, AI is going to be your first employee. If you're starting a business right about now, I love to share this, but I'll probably not give all of the information. Someone started a faceless YouTube video, and in less than 6 months, he has had over 15 million views. And the person isn't showing his or her face. You won't even know who the person is, but the person is using AI to generate videos. So if you are currently in Nigeria, you're in Lagos, you're in Accra, anywhere in the world today, you have that same access. No one is stopping you from using any of those AI tools. No one is stopping you from uploading your first YouTube video. It starts with you. But recognize that the future of entrepreneurship is here. AI is going to be your first employee. And you can start on a lean budget. My first son, his name's Brian, he's 13. He has a YouTube channel. He teaches people Python, right? And he's grown the channel. He's still growing it. But the point I just want to bring out here is, if a 13-year-old can start a YouTube channel, I mean, there are people who are probably, yeah, I remember now, you can't start a channel on YouTube until you're 13. So he just turned 13. So his channel is pretty new, because when he tried to do it earlier, YouTube wouldn't allow us to create a channel. So he was creating videos and uploading it on his mother's page. But the point I'm trying to make here is the economics of being a startup has been completely transformed. With $100 or even less. Now, I know someone's going to say $100 in Nigeria is over 100,000, but with as little as, with even free tools, there's some of these tools that you don't have to pay for. The only thing is that it will carry a watermark, but no one cares. As long as you craft a story and you're selling value, and you leverage AI to automate 80% of your task, you will reduce your cost of running a business, and you will get efficient at making money. Because we're at the point where the business world is borderless. I've said this before, I keep saying it, I've been saying this since 2010. We are experiencing the world is flat now. Now, when I say flat, not geographically, but the world is flat, meaning if you create a video that is right, it can go viral. But the world is, you just have to get it right. And what has made this possible is that we live in a world that is boundaryless now. There are no boundaries. Like I said, the world is flat, right? The world is flat. And so because of that, the internet, cloud, borderless payments, a remote first culture, and 24/7 access is all people need to succeed. When I was starting my career, the narrative then that we were told was, they said, you only need two things, God and Google. But now it's changing. You only need God and AI, you know, because AI is infused into everything. AI can do your search, AI can be your marketing consultant, AI can be your mentor. Well, not technically, but you still need a physical mentor, right? But AI can help you do all of those things. I know this is quite high level, and I'm hoping that questions will come that will help me get to break it down to everyone, right? But there's a power that comes with becoming a creator and driving a community. I've seen that happen a lot. Not just here in Canada, but around the world. I've been on forums and platforms where that started out as a WhatsApp channel, as a Slack channel. But today, I mean, there's a Slack channel that I'm a member of. Today, that Slack channel has access to over $100 billion. And they got all that funding by having regular conversations. So what does that mean for today? Or what does that mean in today's world? It doesn't matter what part of the world you are in, whether you're in Africa, whether you're in Asia, whether you're in South America, whether you're in North America. If you build the right business models, if you leverage opportunities, the world will find its way to your footprint. And I'm not going to bore you with all of the details, but I say this to everyone. If you build the right product and you provide the right knowledge, it's just a matter of time. Revenue will come in from everywhere. I know persons who have started YouTube channels, and all they've done, like I was telling you about the young man that I mentored, right? That went on to build blockchain for a bank in Egypt and a bank in the United Kingdom. He still works for those banks, by the way, and this was since I think 2021. He was a core member at the time. Just to give you an idea of context. So it's not about age, it's about skill, right? I think it was this month, but early this month, I pulled him in to come speak to a group for me on how to monetize, how to start a YouTube channel and how to start a Udemy, create courses on Udemy. And the reason is because this young man went from no technical skills to now having a YouTube channel that has over 6,000 subscribers, to now selling over 7,000 of his courses on Udemy. And he still lives in Nigeria. Because somebody will say, he's abroad. No, he lives in Nigeria. He was living in Lagos until he said to me, that he'll be moving out of Lagos to another city because I don't want to mention the city, but he said he was moving out of that city, moving to that city because electricity was a lot better there. And so today he has 6,000 YouTube subscribers, and he's created a course that has been bought by 7,000 students. So, like I said, the only person stopping you is you. So there's a lot of opportunities. Now, I'm not going to focus on on-demand learning because I always say to everyone, find what works for you. I'm not and I'll put it this way, I'm not used to watching videos. So if the video is more than 5 minutes, I'll probably doze off. I can't count how many times my wife and I have gone to the cinema, and I only wake up when everyone screams. So I know watching long videos is not my thing. But if the videos are split into 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, you will get my attention. And that's what platforms like Udemy's done. They've built Udemy around the fact that you can't shoot a video each video shouldn't exceed a particular number of minutes. So the world is changing, and we need to begin to recognize that. I think last year, some young man reached out to me. He was building a artificial reality and VR reality solution. And the solution was going to be, got me to sign an NDA, so I can't disclose much. But if you know Superbook, right? For those who don't know Superbook, it's a YouTube channel that has maybe over 50 million subscribers. So he was thinking of how he could take the kind of stories that Superbook generates and create an AR VR solution around it. Can't tell you more beyond that. But people are thinking. Like I said, critical thinking, problem solving are the most important skill sets you need from now henceforth. So you must ensure that anything that you're building can solve problems. It can impact social and environmental outcomes. I would love to speak to the United Nations Socioeconomic Development Goals. They're called the UNSDGs. There's 17 of them. Maybe during the Q&A session, I would open them up, and I'll just begin to share with everyone. That's what most billionaires in the world today are leveraging. I'll give you a real example. One of the UNSDGs, right, is creating sustainable environments. And that's what Tesla is doing with electric vehicles. They're making us burn less carbon. So it's a positive. So, like I said, we just need to look at the problems that exist in the world today and look out for the right solutions that can drive them. And that's how you create purpose-driven ventures. Don't keep complaining about the problems. Think about solutions. And you can leverage community. If you try to do it alone, it'll be tough. I mean, I'm just imagining Orlando trying to run a business all by himself in 2003 when he started Training Heights. It would have been really tough. So he had to hire a few persons, and then we kept growing from there until he attained critical mass. But now imagine that today he builds a community, and then that community serves the entire community, not just the Nigerian community, but the global community. So I always say to everyone, think ecosystem. My wife likes to call herself an ecosystem builder because her strength is marketing. She can walk into a room and sell ice to an Eskimo. That's her core skill, like a core strength, right? And anywhere she finds herself, she starts to build community. And that's how she went from a 3-women community who were struggling to write the Microsoft Azure certification to a 1,000 strong women community, who today has been given grants by the Canadian government to now empower young kids between the ages of 18 to 30 this summer. So you never know, you might be sitting on an opportunity to build a community. I went to China in, I think, 2016 or 2017, and I met a young man. Well, he's not so young now. Or he wasn't so young. He was, he used to be the CEO at Goldman Sachs in China. But then he resigned and started a community of what I would call, or a community called SF. That's the name of the company, SF. That company is rivaling DHL and FedEx in China. Because what they do is last mile delivery. And when he was sharing his story, he told me that one of the things that he prides about the business is the fact that he's not just running a business, he's building a community that is solving a problem. Now, what is his business model? You have an item that you need to deliver to someone, but you don't want to make the trip. You go on his app and you post the information. I need this product delivered to so location. And someone who can pick it up from that location says, I can pick it up. And he hands it off to someone else who is heading to the direction of where. So one product can go through 10 hands, but it gets to the final destination. And guess what? They do it even cheaper than the traditional systems. Now, what am I trying to say? Community would always beat competitive strategy. If you build the right community, you will beat any strategy, even one that was written in Harvard. Because the community is a close-knit. They would co-create. You know, think about it. Think about a community as a set of leaders who are also advocating, mentoring, coaching, and sponsoring other leaders. And it's possible. So we must begin to think as co-creators. If there's someone here who's very good at cooking, cooking is your strength. Someone amongst you loves being on the internet. That person's strength in the community would be to create a WhatsApp channel and say, if you have any skill, come online. We will work out something. I will come and record you and I will upload it to a community channel. So we create a community channel. I'm just giving instances. I mean, you can copy this model. It's not a patent, you know, it's not a patent pending, but let's say, let me see if I can get some names so that I'm not just, okay, let's say Cynthia loves to cook and she can cook jollof rice that went to Harvard. Now, Nkem Dilim loves to use the internet and she's a very good social media manager. Now, Nkem Dilim starts a community on YouTube called Everyone Can Create Community, right? And then Oyekomi says, I can shoot excellent videos. So Oyekomi and Nkem Dilim and Cynthia meet on Zoom and they open a Zoom opportunity for Marvin, for Mohammed, for Wisdom to come in and shoot their videos on Zoom. And they record those Zoom sessions. And then Abimbola is a very good graphics designer. Abimbola takes those videos, edits them properly, and puts them on YouTube. Do you know why those videos will go viral? Now imagine that we're about 60 man strong here. And all 60 of us are members of that community. And all of us like that channel, like that video. And all of us are subscribers. And all of us reshare that video. In mathematics, I was a very good student of math. There's something called combinations, permutations and combinations. Now let's permutate that. We started with a 60-man platform, right? We built that community. And then we do a 60 factorial. We go from 60 to, 3,600 to, who knows, maybe a few thousands. And before you know it, the video goes viral. Videos that go viral don't go viral by one person reposting it. No, it goes viral by multiple people reposting it. So what am I trying to emphasize here? You can build a community. Matter of fact, if Transformational College doesn't have a YouTube channel, this is an opportunity to create one. And make sure that everyone who's here today, who is a student already or who is a prospective student, joins that community. Okay, so I'm wrapping up. I'm almost at the close of my slides. In 2030, this is who an entrepreneur is going to be like. For startup capital, you would need to speak to a lot of venture capitals. You will just need the right AI tool and minimal funding. You can use AI to generate and prototype your products. You can also leverage micro-influencers. I already spoke to the concept of micro-influencers. You have multiple people who continue to sell and promote you, and you don't need to build a lot of team members. You can leverage AI And of course, your success metrics will be a function of your profit, your impact, and the loyalty that you will get from people because they know that you are impacting them. So in 2030, because like I said, I want everyone to begin to think that you're already in 2030 and work towards it. You will need to embrace AI collaboration. You will need to build digital communities. I can't emphasize that enough. You need to begin to develop hybrid skills, and you need to develop multiple income streams. I love to share this here. I started reading The Richest Man in Babylon many years ago. And I've had a series of arguments with a lot of people. They say The Richest Man in Babylon emphasized the fact that you must save 10% of what you earn, and you must invest it into something you're knowledgeable about. My argument is that the only business that you're knowledgeable about is yourself. So you must keep investing in yourself. However, when you've invested in yourself enough to diversify, you must buy portfolios or invest in portfolios that you are very knowledgeable about. So I say to everyone, my argument or my thesis regarding The Richest Man in Babylon is this. Invest in yourself. Know yourself. One of the first things that I did when I got into that mood of investing in myself was I took the time to really understand my personality, my person. And I did that with a test called the Myers-Briggs. Myers is a professor of human psychology, and she was so excited about her work that her daughter, Briggs, her daughter got married and her name changed to Briggs, continued her mother's research. Matter of fact, mother and daughter worked together, and that's why the model was named after them, Myers-Briggs. Myers was the lady's last name, and Briggs was her daughter's name after she got married. So they created something called the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. The Myers-Briggs Type Indicator is a test that tells you who you are on a spectrum of, are you an introvert, like you don't like to speak, you generate energy by just sitting by yourself? Or are you an extrovert, somebody who once you get into a room, you want to speak to everyone? Are you someone who is intuitive? You sit down and you think about ideas. Or are you someone who feels? Are you someone who perceives? Or are you someone who judges? Now, I took the time to write those MBTIs, and I paid for the test, and I studied my report. It was over 200 pages. And it was very revealing for me because it made me to understand that my personality or my personality type is such that I learn so that I can teach. And it even gave me suggestions on the kind of jobs that I would thrive in. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's not magic that I'm thriving today. It's because I have invested in myself enough to study myself, know my strengths and my weaknesses, and I've built upon my strengths. I don't know how to play any musical instrument. I've never played a flute in my life. I don't know how to beat the drums. If you put me in front of a piano, my face would change to red. My face change color because I don't know how those things work, right? But I know one thing. If you put me in front of a computer, you put me in front of people, I can speak to the things that I have learned. And I have learned one thing. If you find the rhythm in you, your song will keep playing. Even if you live to be 90. My late grandfather died at 95. He was born in 1900. He died in 1995. I was 15 at the time. He was still going to the farm until months before he passed because he found the song in him. He would say to me, nature found me. And that's why every morning before the sun rises, I'm out to the farm. Once the sun is at its peak, I'm done farming. My grandfather had the yam during the harvest. His yam harvest used to take up about 10 football pitches. And as far back as the 70s, my dad used to export yams. out of Nigeria. What am I trying to say? If you find the music that is playing inside of you, that song will keep playing. So discover yourself. Embrace AI. You can't, today's world, if you say you're not going to use AI, you're setting yourself up for failure. So embrace AI. I'm hoping that Edith and Orlando would give me the opportunity to come share with you guys how to leverage AI. I've leveraged AI. I wish I can tell you some of the things that I've done with AI. Unfortunately, I can't because I've signed a couple of NDAs, but I can tell you confidently, AI is one of those skills. It's not the only skill. There are lots of skills out there. There are lots of emerging technologies out there, but AI, well used, can take you from zero to become a millionaire. I had this said to me many years ago. Stan Eke came to speak at a conference in the University of Lagos, and I was in there. And he said to me, not just to me, to everyone in the room, he said, technology is the only skill that can take you from zero to become a millionaire, a billionaire, and a multi-billionaire. I'm going to rephrase that script. I say AI can take you from zero to any status you want. You want to be famous? AI can do that. You want to be a millionaire, multi-millionaire, billionaire? It's in your hands. This is my final thought, and this is what I think. The entrepreneurs, the successful professionals of 2030 will not be those who start a company. It will be those that build communities. I don't want to use the word systems. Those that build communities that run themselves. Communities that solve meaningful problems. I'm sure everyone here is aware that Uber is a community, right? They don't own any cars, but they move people from point A to point B. So the successful persons of 2030 are those who not only start a company, but build the right ecosystem. Ecosystems that run on autopilot. Ecosystems that leverage AI. They do not say use AI, so that you don't see AI as a tool. You see AI as a leverage. Because remember, you are the pilot, AI is the co-pilot. You solve meaningful problems and you evolve with the world. Ladies and gentlemen, with these few points of mine, I hope that I have been able to sow a seed and share a message with you. Thank you very much.
Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. I mean, I was so glued to this system, and somebody mentioned that you speak like an AI already. I mean, the way you deliver this and the way you talk to us, it just keeps everyone glued to the system. Thank you so very much, Dr. Mike. I think you deserve a round of applause. Let's give a round of applause in the chat room as we take the questions. Thank you so very much, Doc, for all you've shared with us today. It's been very inspirational. Okay, so we do have questions, and I would be, yes. Emmanuel, can you permit me to, I can't share, okay, you can stop sharing, Doc. Please stop sharing so I can share the questions that we've gathered so far in the course of the class. Okay. So all right, so let's take the question from Richard first. So Richard says, you did mention in your earlier speech, think globally and act locally. So
yes.
Richard asks, can you share more light on it?
Okay, so I got this mantra from ISEC. ISEC is a global body of students and recent graduates interested in world economics and social development. And back in the days when I was a member of ISEC, that dates back to, I think, 1998 or thereabout. That was actually where I met Dr. Bosun Tijani, the current Minister of ICT, who was both ISEC, as he was from University of Jos, I was from ABU, and a lot of us then. So Isaac had this mantra, think globally, act locally. And what it basically means is, it doesn't matter where you are in the world. Think about how you can build a solution that, if it works locally, can be applied globally. I'll give you an instance. I remember sharing this. I said back in, it was trying to remember the dates, but between 2016 or 2017, I got fed up of having to run generators, wake up in the night, put on generators. So I was seriously thinking about the solution. And solar panels came to mind. And I already said this, I wired 30 solar panels on my roof, connected them in series, put 20 batteries, and I was able to generate electricity. Now, this was prior to my going to China. So I went to China for a course, and while I was in that course, I was discussing with a gentleman, and I got pulled into a meeting that I wasn't prepared for. Just a random conversation where I was talking about how I'd wired my house with solar panels. It turns out that a Chinese company wanted to build a modern office, and they were thinking about how to use solar panels. And what led to a discussion, just sharing with the gentleman about how I had made sure that I didn't have an electricity problem, led to a conversation that took me into a boardroom in China, where I had to come speak to a team about how they could leverage solar panels to power an entire building. Now, it was a local solution when I was building it, because I was just going to use it for my house. But it became a global adaptation. Some of you today are sitting on ideas that will go global, but you have just not acted locally. I was speaking with someone and said, what was it? I asked him a question. I said, why haven't you done this? He said, no lights. It's from Nigeria. And I immediately just said, you know what? I don't think I want to continue this conversation. Because if you want excuses, you would always find excuses. But when there's a will, there's a way. And I'm saying this for context. I was born in 1980. Some of us used lantern to read. Some of us used candles to study. It didn't define us. Rather, it shaping us. So sometimes, and I've been to India and I've been to China. One thing that strikes me every time I visit those two countries is that they have learned to adapt to what I call frugal economics. In India, right, one doctor can operate on 10 patients in an hour. And when I say surgery, I'm talking eye surgery, something that complicated. Don't take my word for it. Go and look for, there's two books. One is Fortune at the Bottom of the Pyramid, written by C.K. Prahad. The second one is Startup Nation. It talks about the story of how Israel was able to build out of nothing. Frugal economics basically says we don't have enough, but we want to make use of the local options we have. So how do you think globally? In today's world, if you are in Nigeria and you have access to a computer, even if you are buying data, you can shoot a 1-minute video using AI. I mean, I'll share a link here. It's called invideo.ai. That's my go-to for creating videos. For creating presentations, I use gamma.app, invideo.ai, video creation, gamma.app, creating slide decks. There's a lot. I'm sure some of you even know more of these tools than I do. But with these two tools, with just these two, you can create a community. You can join the YouTube partner program. You can join Facebook or Instagram. They don't call it Facebook anymore, Meta, Instagram platforms. And you can shoot videos that will go viral and you will get monetized for it. But I say it again, if you don't discover the song in you, I would use the word purpose. If you don't discover your purpose, you really won't know how, you won't start. So acting locally begins by looking around you, finding problems, and generating solutions. Just another context, and I'll go to the next question, right? I said, I learned databases when I was in Nigeria. So it wasn't like I went abroad to learn about databases. But I always used to ask myself, I said, if I as an individual can face the challenges I learned, challenges I faced learning databases, how would they recover from it? And that led me on a journey to India. I wrote my Oracle Masters exams in India because I couldn't afford to go to the US. It was going to cost $2,000 if I had to write the exam in the US, but it was going to cost me $900 in India. And so I went to India. And this is where it gets interesting. I was earning 220,000 naira at the time. But because I had a will, I found a way. I have a friend who was a surveyor. He was working as a surveyor. He had access to cash. And he said to me, anytime you need the money, because I know that anything you put your hand in will succeed. You know, and I said, okay, I need it as a loan. I'm going to pay back. He said, of course, I'm going to give it to you because I know you're going to pay back. So he gave me that loan. I put that money together, you know, traveled to India, wrote the exams, came back. And maybe about a month or 2 months later, a company had the same kind of problem I had been envisaging. Remember, I was still owing that gentleman. I was owing him about 500,000 naira, right? And I went, fixed the problem of the organization, and they said to me, how much would you be willing to, how much, can you send us an invoice? I said, oh yeah, I can prepare my invoice right now. It says, and the CEO said, send the invoice and we'll pay it right away. And so I wrote my invoice, $3,000, and I asked if I could email to them for them to print it. They printed it, they signed, and then they said, we're going to write the check in the name of who? I was confused. I said, oh, write in my name. They said, no, we're a company, so we can't write a check in your name. We have to write the check in the name of a business. It was then it dawned on me, I didn't even have a business at the time. But guess what? I had the solution to a problem that cost $3,000. So I took the check, I asked them not to write the name of the company. And then the next headache for me was, how would I register it could be business? And then I walked into First Bank. The rest is history. Because that's how I started my first company. I didn't even have a name. Somebody was asking me, what's the name of the company? Sorry, my lawyer was asking me. I said, let me think. And the first thing that came to my mind was data and then stream. And that's how I started Data Stream. So what am I trying to say? Please, everyone, I beg you, starting from today, begin to see the problems around you. Before Jumia even came along, my wife and I had been going to, my wife from Abia, we would go to Abia line and we would get people from Onuorah to ship red palm oil. I'm talking before Jumia came, before Jumia and Konga was a thing. They would pay them ahead and they would load jerrycans of red palm oil and they will ship it from Onuorah to Lagos. We'll go pick it up at Abia line. And then we would bottle them in smaller containers and we would deliver to people. We were tech persons, right? We were tech people, but we had a business that we called household nitty-gritties. And all we were doing was supplying household goods. So palm oil, those typical things you need in a home, tissue paper. We will go to the manufacturers and we will negotiate a reasonable, sizable discount. We were tech people. Now, why were we doing it? Why were we doing the deliveries ourselves? We were testing a model because we were about to build our website. So we wanted to know If we build our website and we onboard bike men or dispatch riders, they won't come to us and say, Oga, as I was going on the road, fuel finished. No, we knew the business. We started it, but we chose not to continue because I'm always a numbers person. I did the numbers and I just told my wife, I said, look, how much is this business even bringing? Doesn't even have potential to make 100 million. And we can make 100 million in less than 12 months. So why wasting our time with this? So that's why we pulled out of the business and we gave it to someone else, another family member who continued doing it. And I think the person is still doing it till now. So there are problems around you. Find the solution, look for a cost-effective way, and you would be able to deliver. Okay, next question. You said that skills trumps degrees. The question is, without a degree certification, many employers won't even employ you or give you a job. That's now in 2030, and I see it happening already in Canada. I've worked on a lot of projects. The most smartest guys in the room are not people who have a bachelor's degree. Now, like I said, I don't have anything against having a BSc. I don't have anything against having an OND, HND. I don't. Matter of fact, I don't discriminate. A HND can be smarter than me. There's nothing wrong with that. It's because the person is processing a lot of thinking. But keep one thing in mind. It's applicable today. It will change very soon. I've built a team from the scratch. And I tell you confidently, the kids that came with BTech, HND, team members that came with ND, some that didn't even have a degree, secondary school holders did magic in that organization. So it's not about a degree. You want to get a degree, but have skills. Orlando taught me databases, but he also didn't tell you that while I was working with him, I learned how to program. And he sent myself and a gentleman called Frank. Frank is in the US today. Frank Mwabezi. We're still in talks. Yeah. Frank and I built a .NET application running on SQL Server. We struggled on the project, but we self-taught ourselves those skills. And remember, I had a bachelor's, I had a BSc, but I learned VB.NET. And we built a logistics application for an organization. Someone says, how can I leverage Microsoft Copilot in its full capacity? You would have to pay for it if you want to leverage its full capacity. But I would say you don't focus on leveraging tools in full capacity. Focus on using AI to answer some basic questions, right? Like, this is what I do before I proceed to AI, I ask myself, what is the fundamental problem that I'm looking at? Or what's the problem in front of me? So I list the problems, right? And then I go to AI and say, I have this problem. I need you to provide multiple solutions about how to answer it. And then sometimes I give AI context. I say, think as a professor. Think as someone who has been battling this problem for 30 years. Give me a very honest opinion. I speak to I use a paid version of ChatGPT, right? So I can activate my voice mode. So I activate the voice mode and I speak with the AI and it interacts with me. And of course, AI is my field. So I've also learned how to upload and train my AI so it doesn't hallucinate. But yes, you can leverage Microsoft Copilot or any of the large language models. Maybe as time goes on, I can always come back to share how you can leverage AI and how you can build your own equivalence of Copilot. So you don't have to, it's free. You only just need good internet access, right? I can come in and show the team, but it's going to take about 2 hours, right? I'll show you how to set up on your laptop. You don't need to, but you can download it first time, and then you don't need to go on the internet anymore. So you can pull a large language model locally to your computer and then begin to train it, and then use it as an offline version of your own ChatGPT. Those tools exist today. I have a question. Oh, I don't think I'm done with the questions, did it? Was that me? Hello? Oh, okay. Okay, I think she's adding more questions. So let me wait for her to add more questions. Okay. Let me see. Okay, yeah, I've spoken to the one of skills. Somebody says, I'm a logistics man. How can AI help my career and build a larger community in the next 3 years? I think I already gave you some of the ideas, right? I told you about the guy in China that built SF. SF is a logistics company. You can check it out. The company name is SF. Just search for SF plus China. You should see that company. All he basically did was he did what I call a last mile logistics solution. So he built an app powered by blockchain. So, well, it's good. Let me talk about the technologies because the technologies are important. He built a last mile app leveraging blockchain. So everyone who signs up on the platform is connected to blockchain, to this blockchain. So basically a community, right? And then the community now allowed him to open up to people who wanted to move goods and services from one place to another. And that's basically how SF was born. So I say to everyone today, look at your industry, find a solution. It is not too far off. Okay, so, okay, someone says it's an accountant and an auditor. So you need to give me more context. Because as an accountant and an auditor, how can you leverage AI? There are many ways you can leverage AI. What do you do and how can you make AI efficient? That's the question you need to ask. Yeah, I'll share my LinkedIn shortly. Just give me a minute. So there are many things you can, many ways you can leverage AI, right? As an accountant, if there are some concepts, okay, let me give you a real life use case. So if you're, let's say that, Coyote, let's say you understand accounting to the point that you can speak to the accounting equation, asset plus liability equals to owner's equity, and all of those things. A lot of people are struggling with that concept, right? A lot of people are struggling with that concept. And one way you can leverage AI is you can use InVideo to create a script that teaches people step-by-step accounting. You can even call your YouTube channel step-by-step accounting. Now, you start that channel, make sure that everyone who's on this call likes and subscribes to your channel and reshares your video. All it takes for you to pay you is for you to have 4,000 subscribers. Sorry, 4,000 watch hours. No, sorry, pardon my French. You just need 4,000 people or 4,000 people to watch all of your catalog of videos, and YouTube will reach out to you, you'll become monetized. So the question for you is, what do you need to do to start now? Okay, so let me go back to, someone says, I have a question. I keep wondering if the only way to transform is in tech. I understand that there are changes in tech, but must everyone migrate? What then happens to other areas? Okay, so the question this person asking is saying the only way to no, it's not true. Tech is not the only way to transform. So there are many ways, many areas you can transform, right? If I had the opportunity to choose again, I would do tech, right? Sorry, just a minute. It's 9 a.m. already, so I have to. So finance is one area, right? Health is one area. I mean, I don't know about other parts of Nigeria right now, but medical doctors like cardiologists, specialists, those guys who work on the heart, and special earn over $300,000, both in the US and around the world. So the question for everyone, right, is find what works for you. Find whatever you do, and your music doesn't stop playing. So it's really not about must it be tech, but it's very important you must leverage technology. Because if you try to do it all by yourself, you'll be up against people who are using technology. You'll be like, you're struggling how to build a one-man company, and then somebody who has a 1,000-man company because it's leveraging AI will take you out of business. So whatever the skill is, leverage technology. That's the message or that's the answer to that question. Someone says, I'm a caterer and a culinary artist, but studied accounting in the school at HND. How can you come in for my ideas? I already spoke to this idea, Nana. Nana, you're a culinary artist. Get a camera in front of you. Whether it's a Techno phone, an Infinix phone, an iPhone, just get someone who has those kind of phones. Let them record you when you cook. You don't have to record the whole cooking, right? But just, record a few clips. You don't even need to talk about cooking. You can talk about etiquette, how to use the cutlery, how to use the fork and the knife. It is a big deal, When I was going to become a manager, I was going to go from, I think, deputy manager to senior manager. Then, of course, after senior manager, we'll be talking about AGM. One of the requirements is for you to go from those deputy manager, assistant manager to senior manager, you would have lunch with the CEO. And the CEO would expect you to know how to use a 3-piece cutlery. So your spoon, your fork, and your knife. So I had to learn how to use those 3 cutleries. Your knife will be on one hand, your fork will be on one hand. You don't use a spoon. And you need to know when to use a small knife, especially when you want to take butter. So there's a lady that runs a grooming school, and people pay her millions to learn that. And you've gone to culinary school, and you sound like you're short of ideas. Sorry, excuse me 1 minute. Sorry. So yeah, I hope I've answered your question, Nana.
Yes, I think you have, Doc, and thank you very much. So we will just quickly take one more question because we've overshot our time. So we'll take one more question and we wrap up the session for today.
Yeah, okay. Which question is that? Is it I see 2 questions here. I'm on the tech side of accounting. I build in people's operations using accounting software, but keying in the information to get reports is a problem for business owners. Is there a way that AI can help business owners speak to software? Yes, it's coming, but it's not yet. It's called AI agents. That's actually the area of my research and current dissertation. AI is going to build workflows that would, automate those kind of things, but it's not yet. And even if it comes right now, I don't think your clients will be able to afford it, especially because they're small business owners. A typical AI agent software right now would cost, it will be in the boundaries of millions of dollars. So don't look at that solution for now. My recommendation to you would be, there are ways around it. You can try bulk upload. Get the data in CSVs. And then I think most accounting applications always have an interface that allows you to do bulk transaction load. And then once it gets in, you can then push the credit to the debit or the debit to the I do a lot of all that, so I can speak to that. Not AI is not matured yet for this, but it's coming. Someone said 16-year-old that wants to study biomedical engineering in school. What do you have for me? Okay. I would answer this question, but I would take a step back. Don't expect people to provide you with a solution. Discover yourself first. So my response to Ife, or Ife Oluwa, I don't know which one's your last name, Oni Ife Oluwa. My response or my recommendation to you would be, speak to your parents that you want to do a Myers-Briggs test. I'll share some links that I have on that. There are some free ones, there are some paid ones, but for Ife, I would recommend that you do the paid ones, so you can generate the reports and read them. You'll get up to 200 pages or even more, right? Okay. Yeah, I'm wrapping up, Edith. I just want to get that test, and then we can then go from there. I'll share the test. I just wanted to search for it. But what those tests actually do is that they tell you who you are. So I'm going to share the free ones first, and then I'll share the paid ones. So my recommendation to everyone, I'll also share it on your WhatsApp, so that those who want to get it can also continuously reach out to you.
All right. Thank you very much.
So, yeah.
Thank you very much,
do
Doc.
these tests, you would understand who you are.
Great.
And then you then plan. You might even do this test and you realize that biomedical engineering is not really what you're cut out for. It might be that you're cut out to be an AI engineer. It might be that you're cut out to be an environment, sustainability, and governance professional. You never know until you understand study yourself. So
great.
it's like listening to everyone. What's his name now? I think it was either Aristotle or Plato. That one of them says, knowledge is the beginning of wisdom. Is that how he said it? And then there's another person that says that if you don't, I don't want to paraphrase when he says knowledge is the beginning of all wisdom. But I would paraphrase it and say knowledge of yourself is the beginning of your own wisdom. Because if you know yourself, no one can change you. And that's what it is. So I hope with these few points of mine, I have been able to to convince you all and not confuse you.
All right. Thank you so very much, Doc. It's been an inspiring session, and it's a privilege and honor to have you on the call today to mentor us. It's been a wonderful time out with you. Thank you very much. And I know that everybody on the call is feeling the same way. So please, I've seen your appreciations. Yes, let's have it coming. Thank you very much. We appreciate your time. All right. And Emmanuel, I think the personality test link, please share it on all our platforms, the community, so people can as well benefit from that. All right. So we've come to the end of the Mentor Day today, and I know that we all got value for our time. And we want to appreciate everyone that joined us on the call. And we are grateful you joined us. And quickly, we'll just take a few announcements as we round up. So we've mentioned that our summer program registration is still ongoing. So Emmanuel, you can as well reshare these links in the chat room, and let's have your registrations coming in. We have two sides to it, the AI and the business analyst and ISO side of things. And of course, follow us on all our social media handles where we dispense information, so you can be updated or keep being updated with the latest happenings in Transformation College. All right. And last but not the least, please give us your feedback, your honest feedback from today's session. Emmanuel, please share the feedback form link in the chat room, and we'll be wrapping it up right here. So as soon as you're done with your feedback, we would appreciate if you would just put in the chat room done while you gracefully exit the call as you would wish. So please fill up the feedback form and just drop in the chat room done, because we really need your feedback. We have we would have another mentor day in the month of August, or in the month of October. That would be another public holiday, October 1st. So we'd have another mentor day. So, but we want to get your feedback for us to be able to do better in the next mentor day. So give us your honest feedback and then put in the chat room done as soon as you are done filling up the feedback form. Yes, so thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to our proprietor, Dr. Lando, and every of our partners, friends, and of course, alumni and new or visitors to our call today. Thank you very much for making this day a very successful one. Thank you very much. All right, so let's have your feedback as you gracefully exit the call.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Wish you all the best in your endeavors.
Thank you very much, Doc.
Right. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Ibidola. Thank you for filling out the feedback form. Thank you. Thank you very much, The Hills. Thank you for the feedback. Okay, Bolarewa, thank you very much. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Ifeoluwa. Thank you, Jackson. Thank you, Kayode. Thank you very much. Emmanuel, can you reshare? Someone is asking for the attendance link form, so please reshare the attendance link in the chat room. Thank you, Sunny. Thank you, Lutayo. Thank you, Abimbola. Thank you for filling out the feedback form. Okay, thank you, Hassan. Thank you, Udo. Thank you, Gabe. Okay, thank you, Alanana. All right. Thank you, thank you. Nafisa, thank you very much. All right. So thank you, everyone. We would now end the call. Thank you very much, and do enjoy the rest of your holiday.